Welcome to the Concur Travel Expense tutorial. This tutorial will provide an overview of creating and submitting a travel expense in Concur. Please note, a travel request must be submitted and approved before travel occurs. An expense report cannot be submitted without an approved travel request. A new expense report will be created from the approved travel request. To edit a saved expense report, access the report from the Expense tab. To create a new expense report from the Concur homepage, click on Request from the top navigation bar. Locate the approved travel request. At the far right of the approved travel request, click on Expense to create a new expense report. The report header appears. Fields with the left red border are required. If the trip contains personal travel days, enter the dates here. The trip business start and end dates should only reflect the business portion of the trip. Enter the departure time of when the traveler entered into travel status. Enter the arrival time of when the traveler ended travel status. Select the checkbox next to the travel request and then click on Next to continue. The travel allowance pop-up window appears. Click on Yes if meals or lodging will be added to the report. Create an itinerary stop for each destination of the trip and be sure to click on Save for each stop. For a round trip, 2 itinerary stops will be created. Do not include layover stops. Multi-location trips will require an itinerary stop for each destination. Do not use the Import Itinerary button to import airline information, as it will incorrectly reflect travel status and can cause issues with correct reimbursement. Departure time is when the traveler leaves home or work to begin travel status. This will be the departure time entered into the first itinerary stop. Fill in the required information and click on the Save button. For the second itinerary stop, the departure city automatically populates. Fill in the required information and click on the Save button. This trip contains 2 itinerary stops. If a trip contains multiple locations, create additional itinerary stops as needed. When finished, click on Next. Available itineraries are displayed with the most recent being shown at the top of the screen. To edit the itinerary, click anywhere within the rows of that itinerary and then click the Edit button. For this example, the itinerary is correct. To continue, click on Next. The Expenses and Adjustment screen appears. Select the checkbox for any of the meals that were provided by a third party or outside source on the trip. When a meal was provided and the box checked accordingly, the amount of reimbursement with the per diem model for meals is adjusted automatically. Continue to checkmark the appropriate boxes. When finished, click on Create Expenses. The expense screen appears. Note that the daily per diem rates have automatically populated into the expense report. Meal receipts are not required. Do not attach receipts for these entries. All available expense types are listed on the right of the screen. Recently used expense types will appear at the top of the list. To add a new expense type, click on the expense type name. The expense information screen appears. Enter the required information, which is noted by the red left border of each field. To attach a receipt to the expense type, click on Attach Receipt. Browse on the computer for a receipt or select an available receipt. Click on Attach. The Attached Receipt tab appears. To view or delete the receipt image from the expense entry, click on the tab. When all the information has been entered, click on Save. The blue icon indicates that a receipt has been successfully attached. To add an attachment, such as a conference brochure, click Receipts drop-down option and select Attach Receipt Images. Locate an image by clicking on Browse. Click on Upload to attach the image. If adding a lodging expense, select the lodging/conference rate. The lodging expense type should only be used if needing to itemize the entire lodging receipt. Enter the required information. An expense can be saved without attaching a receipt. However, If a receipt is required, the expense report cannot be submitted until all required receipts are attached. Click on Save to continue. The yellow icon indicates a receipt image is required. Click on the expense to open it and attach the receipt. Click on the Attach Receipt button. Locate an image by clicking on Browse. Click on Attach to attach the receipt image. Click on Save to continue. If any adjustments are needed on the meal per diem expenses, click the Details drop-down menu. From the drop-down menu, select the Expenses and Adjustments option. Make the desired changes and then click on Update Expenses. Continue filling out the expense report. The report automatically saves and will be available from the Expenses tab if needing to return at a later time. If the expense report is complete, click on Submit Report at the top right of the screen. Please note, if acting as a delegate for a traveler, the button will be Notify Employee, as the traveler has to submit the expense report. When the expense report is submitted, the electronic agreement pop-up box appears. Review the agreement and click on Accept and Submit. A message appears indicating the report has been submitted. Click on Close. Within the Manage Expenses tab, the report is displayed as submitted and pending financial approval. Thank you for watching this video tutorial. For more information, visit the University Travel website.